Hello and welcome to this special edition of This Week in the Garden. We're here in my office today because it's raining outside, but we're going to talk about something that I've started to notice in my garden, and that's blossom end rot. If you've never seen it before, this is kind of what it looks like. It's a black spot, kind of a dead area on your plants. I have it in my tomatoes, but I also have it on my zucchini as well. And what it is it's a calcium deficiency. It's where the plant can't take up that calcium properly, whether that means it's not in the soil or it's for a number of other reasons. Now, this is why it was important early in the year to take a soil sample, because that'll tell you, do you have proper calcium in your soil already? It's not something that's going to leach out like nitrogen when we have heavy rain. And so it's important to make sure it's there in the beginning of the year. So that's why we always recommend that. So for that reason, I know that that's not the issue with mine. This is not a calcium deficiency from the soil. I know I have enough calcium in the soil. Other reasons that you can see blossom end rot are the temperature is either too dry or too wet, and so your plants can't take up that calcium properly because what they're taking up is too dilute, or there's not enough water to transport it through their cells. Another reason could be that you've added fertilizers, so plants will take up things like nitrogen and phosphorus more readily than calcium, and so if you add a fertilizer, you might compete with the calcium uptake for your plants. And I think that's what happened for me. If you remember back a few weeks ago, I did a video on how to fertilize throughout the season, and I added some fertilizer on my tomatoes and on my squash plants, and I might have went a little bit overboard, and so that's why I think I'm seeing a little bit of this blossom end rot. And again, that's kind of what you'll see. It's this black area where the blossom would be on the fruit. So if you think about a tomato, it's hanging like this. That's where the vine is coming off. The blossom would be on this end, and it's just kind of starting to rot. Same thing with the zucchini. They grow kind of like this. They attach to the plant here. This is where your blossom would be. And again, it's rotting. So you'll see it in things like tomatoes. Peppers are a bad one, and watermelons are the three main ones, but you'll see it in a lot of different kinds of fruit. The key to identify it is it's just a dark area. It's not any type of bacterial disease or anything like that, but if you do notice it on your plants, on the fruit, go ahead and throw them away. They're not going to develop into something that you can eat, and it's going to be an area that's kind of weak and you can get diseases in. So just go ahead and cut them off, throw them off to the side, and that's what you want to do if you have blossom end rot. Now, there's not too much you can do once you start to notice it in your plants. It's not something that's going to spread. A couple of your plants might have it, others right beside it might not. A lot of people will try calcium sprays, and that's something you can try, but calcium is taken up by the roots and then goes up to the leaves and to the fruit. If you spray it on the leaves, there's no research that says that it's going to go from those leaves to the fruit, because it's only going up from the xylem. So you can try them if you want. Some people say that they work, but there's a lot of resources out there that are inconclusive. So other than that, you just want to make sure that you're watering properly and that you make sure that you don't go overboard with fertilizers like I did. But other than that, taking soil samples will help too. So that's really all we have on this special edition, kind of a little notice on blossom end rot. If you have any questions, you can shoot me an email. And if not, stay tuned for this Friday's episode of This Week in the Garden.